Welcome to Impartial Points and our explainer on the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. It's one of the most transformative legal provisions in American history. Ratified on July 9, 1868 during the Reconstruction era, it fundamentally reshaped the relationship between the federal government, the states, and American citizens. Its sweeping provisions on citizenship, due process, and equal protection have had a profound and lasting impact on civil rights, democracy, and the legal framework of the United States. This video will delve into the origins of the 14th Amendment, explore each of its 5 sections in detail, examine its historical significance, and highlight key Supreme Court cases that have interpreted and applied its provisions. We will also discuss the challenges and controversies surrounding the amendment, as well as its enduring legacy. So, let's get started. The historical context of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was born out of the turbulence and trauma of the Civil War. With the Union victory in 1865, the United States faced the monumental task of reconstructing the nation. This period, known as the Reconstruction era, sought to address the immense challenges of reintegrating the Southern states, rebuilding a shattered economy, and ensuring justice for nearly 4 million formerly enslaved Black Americans. The 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, abolished slavery in the United States. However, the Southern states quickly enacted laws known as Black Codes, which were designed to restrict the freedom of Black Americans and maintain a system of racial hierarchy. These codes denied or restricted Black Americans' basic rights, such as the ability to vote, own property, or testify in court. Congress recognized that these systemic injustices required a constitutional solution. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 sought to address these issues, but legislators feared it could be overturned or ignored. To solidify its principles, Congress drafted the 14th Amendment, which provided a constitutional foundation for equal rights and protections for all citizens. The structure of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment consists of 5 sections, each addressing a specific aspect of citizenship, governance, or rights. Let's explore each one in detail. Section 1. Citizenship Clause, Due Process, and Equal Protection.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
The section has a number of clauses that have their own impact. Citizenship Clause. The opening sentence of Section 1 overturned the Supreme Court's decision in Dred Scott v. Sanford, 1857, which held that Black Americans could not be citizens of the United States. By establishing that anyone born or naturalized in the United States is a citizen, this clause laid the foundation for inclusive citizenship, regardless of race or background. The Privileges or Immunities Clause. The phrase privileges or immunities refers to the basic rights and freedoms guaranteed to all citizens. However, the Supreme Court's ruling in the Slaughterhouse Cases, 1873, significantly narrowed the interpretation of this clause, limiting its application. Due Process Clause. The Due Process Clause ensures that states cannot deprive individuals of life, liberty, or property without following fair legal procedures. Over time, this clause has been interpreted to include both procedural due process, ensuring fairness in legal proceedings, and substantive due process, protecting certain fundamental rights such as privacy. The Equal Protection Clause. The Equal Protection Clause prohibits states from denying any person the equal protection of the laws. This clause has been the basis for some of the most important civil rights cases in American history, including Brown v. Board of Education, 1954, which struck down racial segregation in schools. Section 2. Apportionment of Representatives.
Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age, and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state.
This section addressed the allocation of seats in the House of Representatives. It introduced penalties for states that denied voting rights to male citizens over the age of 21, reducing their representation in Congress. Notably, this section reflects the historical context of its time, as it explicitly refers to male inhabitants. Women would not gain the right to vote until the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Section 3, disqualification from holding office.
No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress, or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may by a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability.
This section aimed to ensure that individuals who participated in the Confederacy's rebellion during the Civil War could not hold public office. It reflects the tension of the Reconstruction era, as the Union sought to rebuild the nation while preventing former Confederates from wielding power. Section 4, Public Debt and Confederate Obligations.
The validity of the public debt of the United States, authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave. But all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void.
This section guaranteed that the federal government's debts, including those incurred during the Civil War, would be honored. At the same time, it explicitly prohibited the repayment of debts incurred by the Confederacy or claims for compensation related to the emancipation of enslaved people. Section 5, Enforcement Authority.
The Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article.
This section grants Congress the authority to pass laws to implement and enforce the principles of the 14th Amendment. It has served as the basis for significant legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Here's a few landmark Supreme Court cases. The 14th Amendment has been at the center of some of the most influential Supreme Court decisions in U.S. history. Here are a few key cases. Brown v. Board of Education, 1954. This case used the Equal Protection Clause to strike down racial segregation in public schools, declaring that separate but equal facilities are inherently unequal. Roe v. Wade, 1973. The Due Process Clause was cited in protecting a woman's right to privacy. Obergefell v. Hodges, 2015. This case extended the right to marry to same-sex couples, citing both the Equal Protection and Due Process Clauses. And finally, Loving v. Virginia, 1967. The Supreme Court relied on the Equal Protection and Due Process Clauses to strike down bans on interracial marriage. Challenges and controversies. While the 14th Amendment has been instrumental in advancing civil rights, it has also faced challenges and controversies. There's been state resistance. During Reconstruction, Southern states resisted the amendment through discriminatory laws and practices. Occasional judicial narrowing. Some Supreme Court decisions, such as the slaughterhouse cases, limited the amendment's scope. Modern debates. Issues like affirmative action, voting rights, and immigration policy continue to spark debates over the amendment's interpretation and application. The legacy of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment remains a cornerstone of American constitutional law. Its provisions on citizenship, due process, and equal protection have been a powerful tool for advancing justice and equality. It is a testament to the enduring struggle for civil rights and the principles of democracy. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth exploration of the 14th Amendment. Its history and impact remind us that the fight for equality and justice is an ongoing endeavor. We hope you found this discussion informative and insightful. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world of information at your fingertips. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with others. Join us next time on Impartial Points.